My name is Indy J. Dean. I am a senior here at Conway High School. I will be attending Georgetown Tech in the fall and then transfer to Claflin University to pursue my career as a juvenile probation officer. It is my pleasure to introduce this phenomenal catalyst for change, a dreamer, entrepreneur, a father, a husband, a mentor, a guide, and also a role model. This man has been all over the country sharing his wisdom and his dedication to kids of all backgrounds. Also, he is a Conway High graduate. He just recently retired 21 years from the United States Marine Corps as a Gunnery Sergeant Lawrence Dean II. He is known to many as life, but to me he is known to be my father. He has graciously took the time out of his schedule to come and inspire our senior class to the next step and move with an expectation of greatness. We, the class of 2017, would like to welcome Mr. Life to the stage.
Y'all clapping like y'all like me. Good morning, what's happening? This class of 2017? Oh, this class of 2016. 17. Oh, okay, I thought somebody was making some noise. Like, y'all ain't happy to be here? I'm sorry, I get up in the morning, I'm just lit. Anybody else get up and they lit? Yeah. We're gonna discuss that, because that's one of the things you need to be successful in life. Sometimes you have to make sure that you motivate yourself when you get up in the morning. Sometimes you have to look at that shirt and say, no, I'm not going to the college. I came to change the world. Anybody got that feeling? Yeah. We didn't just come in here to talk and say, oh, I want you to get good grades and do da-da-da-da-da. What I want you to do all day is remain lit. Is that all right? Yeah. Look, everything you've done up to this point was phenomenal, I promise you. But everything you did up to this point was because somebody made you do it. This next step in your life is really on you. Some of you chose to go to the military, some of you chose to go to college. But the next step in your life is really on you. When you went to kindergarten, anybody was like, I want to go to kindergarten. No, somebody made you go, right? The law said you had to go. Some of y'all want to be in high school right now, you counting down, like I got 18 days, I got 18 days, and I'm out of here. 16? Yeah. See, I know somebody was counting, got the numbers off. What I want you to remember is, in life, if you want to be successful, you're gonna have to remain lit. How many people had a goal to go to college? All right, everybody with their hands up, right? I want you to throw that goal away. Because college can't be the goal. College is the middle passage. Because what's gonna happen on the first day of college? You met your goal, right? So you don't have no initiative to complete it, because you already met the goal, right? So we're gonna talk about is making sure that you remain lit. I want every day your goal to start being, I'm gonna be greater today than I was yesterday. You know what that means? You're gonna consistently have to run after a goal. So why did I say lit? Anybody know what lit means? From this point forward, anytime you think about being great, anytime you think about being successful, I want you to think of the acronym LIT. The first L represents legacy. When you walk out of this building, when you graduate, walk across, get the cap down, turn the tassel, all that good stuff, throw it in the air, party like rock stars, and all that good stuff, right after that, your legacy starts. You're gonna carry your last name, your bloodline, your namesake. You're gonna carry Conway High School into a world where everybody didn't know you since kindergarten. Nobody know you used to pee in the bed in the 3rd grade and none of that stuff like that. And some of y'all know the person that peed in the, whatever. Nobody knows your family, nobody knows your cousins, nobody knows your mother, nobody knows exactly the small town of Conway, South Carolina where you came from. So when you walk into that college, when you walk into the Marine Corps, when you walk into any service, when you walk into the workforce, you have to remember at that point, you're establishing a legacy for yourself. You are building your own namesake. And not just your namesake, things you have to start looking at is bigger than just me. It's no longer about me no more. When my daughter introduced me just now, I was thinking to myself, I wonder does she know that I put myself in a certain position to make sure she always has somebody to chase, to make sure that our legacy is always set up the right way, to make sure that she knows that I was very intentional about being who I am. I wake up in the morning with my legacy in my mind. I have to make this thing bigger than me. When I saw the Marine Corps in here, right? Y'all going to the Marine Corps? Listen, when I used to run them 3, 5, 6, 10 miles or whatever the person ahead of me wanted to run today, I used to always fool myself in the background saying, you know, when I come across the line, everybody's going to be cheering for me. When I come across the line, they're going to say the little boy from Conway made something happen. When I come across the line, they're going to see my last name. I learned how to start grinding for my last name more so than my first name. So what I'm telling you is, when you get to the college, when you get to the military, wherever you go, remember that you're establishing the next level of your family's legacy. So those days when you want to quit and give up and it gets hard, I want you to start weighing out 4 years. Anybody ever, Marine Corps, we got like 13 weeks of boot camp, right? A lot of people say, I ain't going to the Marine Corps because they got 13 weeks of boot camp. Anybody ever heard that? I'm going to go somewhere they got like 6 weeks. I ain't going to go to college, man, that's 4 years. What I want you to start doing is weighing those 4 years against the rest of your life. If it's 4 years that you got to get through something difficult that's going to impact the rest of your life, is it worth it? If it's 13 weeks that you got to go through something to be a part of an alma mater that's going to last forever, that's been here and is going to be here, the most prestigious fighting force in the world, is it worth the 13 weeks to go through it? Has anybody ever heard the world is not going to give you roses? It's not going to be all roses. Anybody ever heard that before? I came to change that. It is going to be all roses. I promise you, my life is all roses. I live in a beautiful place. But the thing about roses is this. In order to get the roses, you got to get every thorn that comes with it. Every time you think about that, I want your eyes to stay focused. Anybody ever give somebody roses? Fellas, you ain't never give nobody no roses? All right, salute. I don't want to say it in front of nobody. People in here ain't getting no flowers to. It's all right. And you have to pluck the little thorns off. That's how life is. Might be the first test. You get there, you might rock out the first test because you don't understand how college is set up. Some people who remain average will quit at the first thorn. People who become successful will get through that little pain because they're not looking at the thorn, they're looking at the rose at the top. They're gonna keep pushing for their legacy. So right after that, what you have to be is intentional. That's the I. So the L is what? Oh, well, you gotta say it like you mean. Some of y'all parents in here, listen, my mama never came to nothing for me in school at all. So if your mother's in here with the phone up, your brother, your cousin, somebody who loves you is in here, you need to speak on their legacy's behalf. You need to speak for your name's sake. You need to make sure that when you say something, you mean it, you're intentional. You have to be lit. I ain't never been lit like this. I bet your song come on right now, you Millie rocking on every block and all that. You're jumping out the building when they talk about everything except for you being successful. So about successful, I need you to be lit. So what's the first L? Legacy. I played for my legacy. Now, after you figure it out, this thing is bigger than me. Some of y'all might be the first person in y'all bloodline to ever go to college. Some of y'all might be the first person to go into the branch of service you're going in. Some of y'all might be going to take over the workforce, become entrepreneurs, or whatever it is. You have to remember that you're playing for the forward progression of your bloodline. And in order to do that, you got to have the I. That means you got to start being intentional. When I got up in the morning, I put this outfit on intentional. I got a dope suit in the car, and I thought about it. I ain't coming to speak to a Fortune 500 company. I'm coming to speak to the brother like the brother right here that got the icy grays on with the icy bottle foams on. So he understood my shoe when I walked in. I made sure that I put on this expectation of greatness shirt when I walked through, and I made sure it was popping because I knew I was going to talk about being lit. I made sure that when the light hit it, you'll see it shimmer. I made sure I wore my village minder hat so you know I came back to pour in the community that made me. So what you have to do is start being intentional. I need you to be just as intentional as you were about putting on those Huaraches and those ripped up jeans. How many people get dressed in the morning like, I'm killing them when I put this on? How many people get dressed in the morning, do your hair, make sure your eyebrows is done, all of that stuff? You have to be just as intentional about being successful. You ever met a person and be like, what you gonna do today? Man, I don't know. I'm 40 years old, I got friends. I'm like, yo, so what's the plan? I don't know. You mean you don't know what the plan is? Like, when I retired, my friends was going, I had a cousin that was telling me, he said, man, I gotta figure this thing out. I'm like, we 40, right? If you don't start becoming intentional, when you go to your college, you have to be intentional about making A's. You have to be intentional about being successful. When you go in the military, you have to be intentional about making it to the next rank. That's why the goal of going to college ain't enough. You got to see beyond it. That's why going to the military ain't enough. I came in the military 6 days after I graduated high school. Right then, I didn't tell a lot of people I was in the Marine Corps because in my mind, I was like, I'm running for retirement. It doesn't matter what happens in the first 20 years. I got a 20-year goal. And I have to be intentional to make sure that I make it there. Some people wake up in the morning and just let life happen. Anybody know that person? What you gonna do, man? It's whatever. It used to be whatever when somebody else could foot your bill. It used to be whatever when somebody else was paying the light bill and paying the notes and all that. Now, it's not whatever anymore. You have to be intentional about being successful. You have to go to that class and say, you know what? I came here to get something. I came here to work. I gotta have it. My life can't happen on accident, because I promise you what's going to happen is, we'll be 70 years old since, so we're working in the department store going, oh, I know what I want to do now. Now, if you're 70 years old and you wanted to work in a department store, that's phenomenal. You made it to what you wanted to do in life. You might be 70 years old sitting on your rocking chair going, what did I want to do in my life? Everybody ever heard that the graveyard is the richest place on the planet? Because it's filled with dreams that never happened. It's filled with stuff that you have inside you that a lot of people don't execute on. From this point forward, you have to be intentional. You have to wake up in the morning and say, I ain't gonna be good. I'm gonna be the best me I can. If I gotta sit in this classroom for 1 hour and I gotta be here, then while I be here, I expect to get something out of it. I'm intentional. I'm sitting in the front of the class. Why? Not because I really want to be in the front of the class, it's because I want the teacher to see me. I want them to start knowing my name. When you go in the military, you better develop a voice. You better have a commanding presence when you walk in the room. I was intentional. I could be in the middle of a platoon of like 500 people. I can remember graduation day. It's everybody out there. It's like 8 platoons of 83 people. I'm in the middle of one platoon. I have psyched myself out like the whole world is watching me. Forget these other 83 people in this platoon and the 6 platoons with me. I'm in the middle like this. I know they're watching me. I'm intentional. I expect myself to be great. I wake up and say my legacy is important. I'm going to move towards my goal at all times. So as I figured out legacy, and after I figured out I have to be intentional, the last T is this. This is the T that separates people from being average and people from being amazing. This is the T that separates people from being here and being here. This is the T that separates people from being P-poor, because I don't want to use the wrong term. Y'all know what P-poor is, right? And phenomenal. This T right here separates the people who do it from the people who watch it getting done. You gotta be tenacious. You gotta tell yourself, I don't care what happens. I don't care what comes in front of me, I gotta make it to my goal. When I go to this college, they ain't never seen nobody like me. When I walk into the Marine Corps, there's a lot of people in the world. The Marine Corps has this person called Chesty Puller. He's on everybody's wall. When I walked in the Marine Corps, I was like, I need my name on everybody's wall. My name is important, my legacy is important. I was intentional about the way that I moved, and then I realized no matter what happens, I have to be tenacious. I had sisters that went to college. They had a lot of oodles and noodles days, like we ain't had a lot of money. Like some days you're gonna eat the same thing over and over and over and over, and you're gonna get tired of going to the caf, and you can try to borrow somebody else's meal ticket, whatever you gotta do. And sometimes it's gonna make you wanna quit. But you gotta be intentional, you gotta be tenacious, you gotta say, you know what, I can't quit. There is no end to this. Today, I gotta outdo what I did yesterday. Today, I gotta make sure that I make it to my mark. I don't care what comes before me. I'll take the thorns. It doesn't matter how bad it hurts, because my hurt is only gonna be temporary. What happens in the outcome of me being tenacious about my life is gonna carry me for the rest of my life. You have to be built different. Ain't no calling home to mama no more saying, oh, yeah, your mama might do it for you. But eventually, you see them good shoes you're standing on, got the nice toes out, the toes is done, the disappear socks in the shoe, all of that, right? You're gonna realize you're gonna have to stand on these now. You can't walk around like you can't crease the shoe no more. Anybody ever seen a dude walk like this? Got the fresh joints on, you don't want to crease the shoes. But I'm telling y'all, there's gonna be some crease shoes days out here. It's gonna be some days you're gonna have to develop a sweat equity. It's going to be some days you're going to have to remind yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You're going to have to remind yourself to be lit. When I went back there to speak to them, and everybody was like, I didn't care, I was lit already. I don't need nobody else to light my fuse. When I came in the building, I was lit already. My daughter was up here, so my legacy's on stage. I was intentional about saying, I'm going to be lit. I was intentional about giving him the phone. I was intentional about every person I spoke to this morning. I watched who was watching me. I made sure I made connections. I was intentional. And after that, I said, I'm going to be tenacious. I'm going to tear the building down. If I got to tear it down brick by myself. I didn't drive all the way from North Carolina here because there was money involved. There ain't no money involved. What I'm telling you, you are the most brilliant generation of humans that we've ever seen on the planet. You're the smartest people that we've ever had in our city. This generation is the most intelligent generation that's ever came to Earth. But you can be the smartest person in the world. But if you ain't tenacious about it,
You can be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't realize that this thing is bigger than you, you don't realize that you're playing for your parents' legacy. All them hours she had to push you out of the womb. The rest of your life, you should be moving to pay back that legacy. If you don't realize that you have to be intentional, don't let your life happen on accident. You have to say, I want this. I'm tired of listening to music and watching people drive things that I can't afford because I wasn't intentional to go get it. I'm tired of hungry days. I'm intentional about winning. And then you have to say, I'm going to go after it. And I'm going to be tenacious about it. So when I raise my hand, I want everybody to say lit. Lit. Oh man, y'all said it like y'all wasn't lit. That comes from y'all don't push your own like button. That comes from y'all wait for other people to tell you if it's cool or not. Who's the coolest person in the room? Let me know. You the coolest person in the room? Let me tell you about cool people, right? Cool people and leaders. Like, people think leadership is something you can teach. Leader is the power to influence a person to do things that they probably wouldn't normally do. You'll know if you're a cool person in the room, because when you do stuff, other people start following. It's fact. I guarantee if the cool people in the room scream lit, most people gonna follow behind. Now the question is, are you the cool person or the follower? The question is, which person are you gonna be? This is a generation where we got followers on Instagram and all that stuff. We wait for other people to push our like buttons. That's why some of y'all want to say you lit. Some of y'all want to be excited. How can't you be excited you about to go to college? You can work, what, 13 years to get out of high school, and somebody's like 16 days. But you're not lit about the next chapter. You're not lit about the next step. You're not lit about making it on your own. You're not lit about getting to the thing that you've worked for 13 years about. I can't understand it. But not being lit is going to tell you the difference between those who are average and those who are amazing. So I raise my hand, I need everybody to scream what? Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, let's do it one more time. I'm gonna end on this poem with something that I understood about myself. You know, sometimes people wait for other people to light it up for them. I've never been that person. Even when I was broken and hand-me-down clothes and holes in my shoes, I just never was that person. When I walked in the room, I wanted the building to shake. When I walked in the room, I expected to change the climate. When I walked in the room, I was already amped up about my life. So what I started noticing is when people started saying my name, I was like, no. This ain't about glam and glitz. The limelight or the cameras that flick. I'm merely a purpose that's working on purpose and gift. And I overstood it. The moment I started fighting, that's when the Most High started to enlighten. He said, life, you never have to worry about shining because you're already lit. Oh, no. How many? No, let's do that again. This ain't about glamour and glitz. The limelight or the cameras that flick. I'm merely a person that's been working on his purpose and gift. And I overstood it. The moment that I started fighting, that's when the Most High started to enlighten. He said, life, you never have to worry about shining because you're already